Hi, Vinyl Tag 2023. Here we go. Favorite new record of 2022. There's going to be a lot of cheating in this, so might as well just start it from the get-go, some cheating. Crazy Horse Toast. I thought this is pretty good. This was recorded about 20 years ago, never released until last year. It's pretty good. I like it. I listened to it. I listen to it more than like his new albums, for example. Last band I saw live, I'm not positive which one it was. It was either, I still haven't seen a show since the beginning of the pandemic. I tried to get tickets for a show. I tried to see, coming up pretty soon, Unwound is playing shows again. But they were sold out. So I still haven't seen a show since the pandemic. 2019 I saw X Hex, Mary Timony, for the garage rock band, awesome. Up at the, what was that called? The Turf Club up in Twin Cities. And I also saw Sleep. There's their first album. Saw them at Codfish Hollow. It's really unique venue, middle of nowhere, barn outside of Maquoketa, Iowa, that they unbelievably have made into like a functioning, even thriving venue. Ani DeFranco played there not long ago. Dinosaur Jr. played there. Guided by Voices played there. Anyway, I saw Sleep there, like almost 3 years ago now, or more than 3 years ago, whatever. First album was best. Well, there's lots of those. R.E.M., Devo, Ramones, King Crimson, Ohm, Richard Hell and the Voidoids. Hat Trick, vinyl CD tape. I don't have that. I don't have. I did kind of briefly sort of try to get into tapes. Tapes were like, cassettes were almost great, don't you think? Like, they went with 1/8-inch tape. What if they had gone with 1/4-inch? What if it had been, single-sided, so to speak, so that you get the full width of that 1/4-inch? If it was a higher speed, there's a bunch of little things they could have done to make tapes kind of amazing. I almost wonder if they didn't because they were worried about them ruining the music industry. Because remember, there used to be all those warnings about like taping is ruining the music industry. Anyway, tapes were almost awesome, and they weren't though, right? They don't sound that great. What I did do was I I'll talk about this later. I got a big Rush kick this year. I got a bunch of originals, but Counterparts and Roll the Bones are just prohibitively expensive. They're over $100 for each of those, and so I thought, well, what if I get the tape? Maybe the tape will sound cool. And the tapes don't sound cool. It's music plus tape hiss. It's really what it is. So that's one where if you can't get the record, you might as well get the CD, I suppose. So don't have a hat trick. Album starts and ends with the same letter. I came up with Something Else by the Kinks. Great record. Something else. I think I've said this before, but British Invasion. Where do I rank them? Beatles, Kinks, The Who, Stones. You didn't ask, but it just crossed my mind. Number 6. Born the Same Year as You. Well, I had a hard time with that one. What I came up with was Fred Savage. He was on that The Wonder Years, and there was a soundtrack for that. And on the soundtrack for The Wonder Years, there was Buffalo Springfield, For What It's Worth. For What It's Worth, that's what I came up with on that. Number 7, most listened to album of 2022. Hard to say. I think it's maybe this one. Dim Stars. So this is a short-lived, I think like literally just a few weeks, short-lived project. Richard Hell, Thurston Moore, Steve Shelley, Don Fleming. Robert Quine's on this too. This is great. I really love this. like it's. I'm glad they didn't try to call it Richard Hell and the Voidoids or something like that because it's different than Richard Hell and the Voidoids. Although they do Downtown at Dawn, which is on Destiny Street, but much like a more aggressive version of it. A lot of really cool stuff on here. It's not a perfect album. There's the occasional kind of obnoxious noise thing, but I love this. Dim Stars. Was so happy to get my hands on this. Maybe my most listened to record of 2022. Most listened to artist of 2022 was probably, and really what I should do is lie and not humiliate myself. But it's Rush. It's I just got into a big Rush phase this fall when I started replacing my reissues with originals, and they sound amazing, and I want to talk about a few of them. I gotta figure out where I put them. Just a second. Okay, what really surprised me is how good the late 80s records sound. I got an original of Presto. I think this is a German original of Presto. Hold Your Fire. Power Windows. All digitally recorded. All stuff that I expected to not sound good. And so they sound surprisingly good. They sound surprisingly three-dimensional. These are actually great sounding records, I think. There is still that sort of cold distance that comes from digital, I think. But it was a pleasant surprise how good 80s digital can sound. So, most listened to artist of 2022. Why am I saying this in public? I could have just said nothing or lied, but no, here I am. Most listened to artist. Australian band. Brisbane's Portal. Huh? Did any of you say that? No, they didn't. Portal. Okay. It's got a weird death metal band. Australian band number 10, bought in 2022 that would surprise people. I gotta think about this. I don't know, would this surprise you? It implies that you think that you would have expectations about what I would purchase, and you wouldn't. Why would you expect anything about what I would purchase? You wouldn't. So this shouldn't surprise you, because anyway. Number 11, artist I'm complete on. I'm not complete on that many artists. I tend to get complete on essential blocks of Sonic Youth. I've got almost everything. I don't have the first one or two. The Bad Moon Rising is the first album I have from Sonic Youth, and I have everything after that. I've got all the Bill Berry era REM. That's all I really want. Their last two albums are pretty good, but so there's a lot of stuff like that where I'm not complete, but I have all I want. I do have all the Sleep albums. I do have all the Superchunk albums. All right, leave it at that. I forget where we are. Artist Incomplete on number 12. Great run of 3 albums. This reminded me of there was that one radio show called Sound Opinions. You ever listen to that? Chicago, I believe, public radio, and now it's a podcast. Are they still on? I don't know. Anyway, they did an episode once a long time ago talking about Grand Slams, the idea that bands that made 4 great albums in a row, and uncontroversially great, right? Not there's these three are uncontroversial, and this other one, some people would even consider this other one. No, it's got to be uncontroversial. Thought about even doing an episode of that, or I even thought about doing what artist had the longest run of great albums without putting out a stinker. Might be Sonic Youth. Sonic Youth has one of the most unfuckwithable catalogs there is. Thought I'd be obnoxious and talk about more metal for this one. So first 3 Obituary albums, I got the original Slowly Eat Rot. I got the original Cause of Death, and got a reissue of The Incomplete. The first 3 albums, all great, I think. All right. Oh, did I do something wrong? Born the same year as you? No. Number 13, 80s soundtrack. I don't know. Oh, well, there was a Decline of Western Civilization, right? That came out in the 80s? I think it did. Who was on that? X was on that. So here's X, who had a song on a soundtrack in the 80s. Number 14, lost them in 2022. Well, there was Anton Fier. Many different things over the years. I mainly know him from the first two Bob Mould solo records. He was the drummer on that. I don't know which one he is. I'm guessing that's him. That's usually how they do it, is drums, bass, guitar. I don't know which one he is, though. Anton Fier, though. The Feelies he was in. That's an album I've been wanting to get for a long time, never have. Disappointing purchase in 2022. I say it's any of those records I got that I've been trying in vain to get rid of the noise on. I even got an ultrasonic cleaner, and it doesn't work to get rid of noise. I've come to the conclusion that cleaning is mainly not for getting rid of noise. Cleaning is mainly for improving the sound of the music that's in the grooves. It does sort of lift the veil. It does sort of make the music itself sound better. Only in rare cases does it get rid of surface noise. That's what I think is the deal. Surface noise is because the records are broke. They're damaged. And I spent a lot of money to come to that conclusion. Okay. Disappointing purchase. Number 16. Non-vinyl purchase, CD, book, etc. Okay. Well, look at the size of this Slinky. Look at that. I don't know what you all are into, but look at that. Okay. 17. Found a Grail. Obligatory mentioning of, like, I'm annoyed that the term Grail, it just sounds dumb to me. But whatever, you gotta call it something, right? So fine. Found a Grail. Well, this would be a Grail to almost no one. I gotta find it. Where'd it go? Here it is. But House of Large Sizes, Glass Cockpit. Iowa band. Really loved them in the 90s. Saw them many, many times in Iowa City and Cedar Rapids back in the day. This is the final album of theirs that came out on vinyl, and you just couldn't get it for the longest time. Or if you did see it on Discogs, it was like $80 or something ridiculous. And then out of nowhere, a Chicago record store listed it for $20, and I gobbled it right up. There it is. So happy to have gotten that finally. Yeah, like what I think are a lot of their best songs: Cranko American, Carpool Lung, Pincher Pincher Martin. Yeah, goes on and on. Great stuff. Found a Grail. Space-themed album. Come on, I don't know. VCLT are present. I'm going to combine these last two. VCLT are present, and then album released in 1973. It's something I got for my kids. Here it is. On the interwebs, once there was this video going around of this Italian song where the guy just like sings in gibberish, sings in made up English. It sounds like English, but it's this complete gibberish, made up words. And there was kind of a neat video that accompanied it with there's like 5 or 6 dancers, but then they used a bunch of mirrors to make it look like there's dozens of dancers. And my kids really loved it. And so I went and found the 7-inch. It's called something like Prisen Colon Instant Susol. And really fun song. And it originally came out in 72, but then this is from the German-speaking world, this one, and that one came out in 73. So I'm using it for the 73. Okay, so looks like everything to me. Thanks for watching. So long.